We have all been there, right? The customer is furious, the system is down, and that standard, boring script just is not going to cut it. These are the moments that really define great customer service. Today, we're going to dive into the high-stakes world of AI prompts that can turn a full-blown crisis into a win. So let's get started.
And just before we jump in, I want to mention that all the insights we're about to cover come directly from Chapter 7 of the fantastic tutorial on prompt engineering for customer service by Virtualization Options LLC.
So, let's kick things off with a question we've all probably faced. What happens when that standard response just isn't enough? When a customer is totally frustrated, a system is down, or a real crisis hits. Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today, mastering the prompts for those moments that matter most.
So let's start with our first tool, mastering high-stakes escalations. This is that moment where a frustrated customer is right on the verge of walking away, and their trust is hanging by a thread. But with the right approach, we can actually turn that crisis into a chance to build some serious confidence.
Okay, the difference between a generic response and an expert one is, well, it's night and day, isn't it? On the left, you've got that dismissive apology we've all received. But on the right, that's a response that takes full ownership, it validates the customer's frustration, and it immediately starts to rebuild trust by acknowledging a complete failure. That's powerful.
So how do we get that expert response? Well, it's all about giving the AI the right context. You can't just say, the customer's mad. You've got to feed it the crucial details. Are they a brand new customer or a premium partner of 10 years? What have you already tried that completely failed? And maybe most importantly, how is this whole mess impacting their business? This is the raw material for a truly effective problem-solving prompt.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce. It's the thinking process we can actually force the AI to follow. By telling it to analyze the situation step by step, we're using a technique called chain of thought prompting. And here's the aha moment. This works because you're forcing the AI to slow down and kind of show its work, breaking a big, complex problem into smaller, logical steps. This dramatically cuts down on errors and leads to a much more reasoned, human-like answer. It basically makes the AI think like a senior specialist, moving beyond just the surface problem to strategize about rebuilding the entire relationship.
Getting the tone right is absolutely everything. It's this delicate balance between a genuine, sincere apology and confident authority. The customer has to believe that you're the one who can finally fix this thing. So this isn't just an apology, it's a declaration of ownership.
Okay, now let's build on that foundation and move into the world of technical support. This is where a single piece of bad advice can have catastrophic consequences. Here, precision is everything.
A structured process is absolutely essential for tech support. Your prompt needs to guide the AI through a really logical flow. First, generate questions to gather the right info. Then, analyze the symptoms to figure out what's going on. Only then should it generate clear step-by-step solutions, followed by instructions on how to make sure the fix actually worked.
And this is the golden rule. This single instruction has to be in every single technical support prompt you write. AI models can sometimes, hallucinate. They can generate confident-sounding but totally incorrect information. This command acts as a critical safeguard, making sure correctness is prioritized above all else, ensuring the advice you give is helpful, not harmful.
All right, now we're raising the stakes even higher. We're moving from individual customer issues to organization-wide crises. Think a service outage, a security breach, a product recall. In these moments, every single word matters, and your prompts have to make sure every message is controlled, accurate, and perfectly aligned.
When you're crafting a crisis prompt, these inputs are absolutely non-negotiable. You have to be explicit about what facts are confirmed versus what's just speculation. You need to define the company's official position, include any mandatory legal language, and most importantly, provide clear, simple actions for customers to take. This is no time for ambiguity. So before you even start to draft a crisis message, what's the one question you need to ask? The source material tells us it's this. What is the single most important message customers need to hear? Answering that one question focuses your entire strategy and makes sure the communication serves the customer first. That's how you mitigate panic and stop misinformation in its tracks.
Okay, for our final set of tools, let's talk about inclusivity. Because truly great service means making sure every single customer can get the help they need, no matter what language they speak or the abilities they have. When you're serving a global audience, this two-stage process is key. First, you create and perfect the response in your main language. This makes sure the core information is 100% accurate. Only after it's been verified do you use a second prompt to translate it, but, and this is crucial, with specific instructions to adapt it for cultural nuances.
And that brings us to this really crucial definition. A great translation isn't just about swapping out words. It's about understanding if a culture prefers direct or indirect communication, formal or informal language. It's about making the customer feel understood and respected in their own cultural context.
And running parallel to that is accessibility. This just means designing your communication so it works for everyone, including people who use tools like screen readers. But here's the best part. Creating accessible content, with its focus on clarity and simple structure, actually ends up making the information better and easier for all users to understand.
And making your AI-generated content more accessible is surprisingly straightforward. By including simple instructions like these in your prompts, using plain language, proper headings, and descriptive links instead of just click here, you can make sure the output is clear, navigable, and usable by a much wider audience. These small additions have a huge impact.
So, as we've seen, mastering these high-stakes prompts, it isn't just about learning a few clever tricks. It's about building a powerful toolkit that can transform a good customer service professional into an absolutely indispensable expert, ready to handle any situation with real confidence. And that brings us to the end. We've covered a ton of ground today, from de-escalating a crisis to making sure every customer feels heard. So the real question now is, which of these critical moments will you choose to master first? The power to turn a challenge into a success story is right there in the prompts you write. Thanks for joining us.